We've taken to the road. We're on a mission to interview successful entrepreneurs. 90% of startups fail, and we want to help change those stats. Next up, Manchester. We sat down with Apprentice candidate Lewis Ellis to talk about how the experience of the show taught him to just start, stop waiting for it to be perfect, and just get stuck in.
What was it like before The Apprentice, and how has life changed since?
For me, I guess The Apprentice was a random decision. Like, I wasn't planning on applying. I've watched it for years. I never thought I'd be at a point where I could apply. I just saw them advertising and I thought, why not? You know, why not? If anyone's going to do it, why not me? I've always wanted to start a business. I can trace back emails to entrepreneurs from when I was like 20 years old going, I really want to start a business. I was looking at them earlier on, actually. And I just thought, I'll give it a shot. I mean, at the time, I've been working full-time anyway in marketing, been building a career in that. I've been freelancing on the side, so I've been trying to pick up my own clients and work in that sense, try and build my knowledge, but also to try and sort of maybe free myself up from a 9 till 5 one day and maybe go and work for myself. And I had this agency in mind. In fact, I applied to The Apprentice with a digital agency. That's what my application said.
Oh, okay. It wasn't a travel company.
No. It said I want to start. I want to start a digital agency. I've been trying to do this for years. My business has been going for 2 years. I've been consulted. I've worked with loads of different companies. That's what I want to do. And then I sat there with the producers, and they said, if I give you 250 grand, what would you do with it? And I said, I wouldn't do this. No, that's ridiculous. I can do that now. I'd do a travel company. And they were like, what? Like, you've not mentioned a travel company. You've not spoken about it. And I said, I know. But that's my passion. That's what I'm doing all this for. One day I want to start a travel company, and you need to have money to do that. So you give me 250 grand, I'd sack this right off, and I go and do that. So then they sort of, I think they ummed and ahed over it, and they said, well, you know, you've not got a business plan for it. If you can go away and you can make a business plan that's worth its salt and that is, you know, it's credible, then we'll consider it. So I was like, give me 2 weeks.
And you put it together?
Put it all together in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I had the idea in my head. It's been there for years. It's always been on the back burner, and I've gone maybe next year, maybe the year after, whenever I can save up X amount in my head. I had this money, I needed X amount of money in my head, like 50 grand, 60 grand, 100 grand. So I've screwed myself over now because now I have to do it. Like, it's forced me to take that plunge.
What's interesting to me is every year The Apprentice is on, I always wonder, first of all, how much time does The Apprentice take? Literally, where you can't work.
So I applied in January and I had my first interview in February. So
stop working.
No, they're the interview stages. I guess the actual Apprentice show starts filming, I think we're in April. So from April to May, June, mid-June, end of June.
Yeah, so it's a couple of months off, a couple of months off work. It's an interesting one. So when you joined The Apprentice, how different was it than what you thought? Because obviously all we see is, you know, there's a taxi going to be here in a half hour, and then like everyone getting ready. So that's all we see is that. But how different is it? Obviously there's takes, right, that people don't see. Walk out to the van again and do all the stuff again, and
So pretty much you wouldn't know how much is staged and what isn't staged.
oh, but just like
It's not staged though. That's the thing. Everything is real. If there's something that actually kicks off, then that's just caught live. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to say stop there, get angry again.
Because you're all not actors, right? No. So you can't react in an argument.
And in the moment we're actually in that. You know, that's real to us. If you take away someone's phone, someone's responsibilities, someone's job, everything, any worries, and you give them a task, that's all they've got to do. Nothing else concerns them, which is why we get so pissed off when someone makes a silly mistake, or why you do make silly mistakes, because you can't think outside the box because you're just in this sort of, you've got your blinkers on and that's what you're focused on. So none of it's staged in that sense. I mean, you get out of the car, you might have to get back in and get out and get in and get out because they're going to get different shots. But when you're actually in a task and when you're actually doing the work, or, you know, it's just all there, it's all real. It's a lot more limited in terms of time. So, you know, if you've got to create a logo, you get 10 minutes to do the logo, you've got to choose a colour in 10 minutes, you've got to do this bottle design in 20 minutes, and obviously they do filming around that, so they might say, right, you need to stop there, both teams need to stop, we're going to do some videos and stuff, so you're sat there really itching to get on with your project, but you know, they've said you've got to take a break for an hour because the crew need a break. So it becomes a bit of a nightmare for you because you're just getting angrier and angrier, like you just, I can just run it, it's done now.
And that's where the typo came in, the famous typo that was like haunting you ever since.
For me, that was ridiculous. See that, because I'm so rushed and I had to do everything, so I had like an allotted time for logo, I had to sort out the bottle, I got told I can't use these names and whatever. So actually, I'm like going, right, I need to get it done, and I'm focusing on each bit, and I didn't see the big picture, so it's too late. And I'm obviously not going to go check someone's work because I just assumed that the guy would do it. I corrected him wrong though at one point. I said parfum instead of parfum, but I don't care either way. I just don't care.
What has it been like for you, like since the show, right? What has it been like for you, like even generating business now?
So for me, in terms of like working with people, it's become easier to open doors, you know. So I guess in a way it's a blessing and a curse, because I'll start talking to someone, they'll be like, oh yeah, right. And they'll go, can I get a picture? I'm like, nah, damn it.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be.
I thought you were interested in business, not interested. But at the same time, the flip reverse of that is that they're more willing to talk to me because they want to ask questions about the show. So it goes hand in hand. I've been doing as much networking as possible. So I've been sort of arranging to meet people who've reached out to me and sitting down with them and speaking to business owners, speaking to entrepreneurs from around Manchester. They might be interested in The Apprentice, but actually when you sit there and chat to them, there's a chance for you to collaborate on something, or there's a mix of skills.
The interesting thing is, and I didn't actually see how it kicked off, but obviously I've seen the aftermath of it. Was a tattoo row with Lord Sugar.
There he is.
Brilliant.
No, it's not really.
Yeah. but it's what did he say? I didn't see what he said.
That was more of a fuck you, but for me, so he just basically so on the show. So on the show it was a Finland episode, and I had to go topless for it. And what really annoyed me about that was because the other people I was with didn't want to go in bathing suits. They didn't feel comfortable going on TV in front of millions of people, as you wouldn't. And I was like, right, I've got tits at the moment, but I don't mind, I'll just do it, take one for the team. So, it was already like, I was uncomfortable doing it anyway, but I didn't mind, I'll just get it out of the way, because at the time, I'm not thinking of the millions of people that are going to watch it. And then watch it back going, I look fat on TV. And then Lord Sugar...
Camera adds £10.
Yeah, no, it did. And then he reaches out and he says, like, his tattoos are horrible, what do you guys think? So he was asking the world for their opinion on my body. I just got really angry. But you know what, I didn't rise to it at first. I just said, no one's got the right to judge you, no one's got the right to do this, and just be yourself, sort of thing. Trying to set like an inspirational sort of positive message. And then he came back again going, I've got the right to an opinion, I've got the right to that. When you're 50 years old, your kids will be disappointed in you. And I was just like...
Yeah, it's bad form. That was bad form, yeah.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that sort of small mindset. I'm not interested in people bringing negativity around me. Like, I've got a job to do. My job is to be successful. He's already successful. He can be an ass now. He can do what he wants to do. Like, I can't afford to do that. I need to focus. So I was just like, whatever. My actual response was like, okay, boomer, because it was like a trendy way of saying, whatever. And I wasn't interested in the conversation anymore. But obviously then all the papers picked up on it, and all these different people who had tattoos got offended, and it was a big conversation, but it shouldn't even be a conversation, not in 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely not.
So what have you been doing with yourself since the show?
For me, I've been doing three things. Work, I've been working full time, I've been working for the agency and continuing that. I've been working with, on the evenings and weekends, I've been working with small businesses. So I've always had this idea of moral business, and I've always wanted to help smaller brands and smaller companies that can't afford to pay an agency. So I started doing it like for free when I was younger to get more experience. And then I found more people needed support, and I couldn't physically do it for free anymore. And so I started recommending they have an X amount of budget and trying to do it without any money, essentially. So I do that on the side. I try and sort of, it's like a social enterprise, essentially. I'm not making any money. And then my travel business is becoming a real thing. Like, it's scary because we don't know what the hell we're doing. And if we did know the journey and we knew the path we were going to have to take, we'd probably run a mile. But because we're so naive to it, we just... me and Luke. So I guess since The Apprentice, I found a business partner. He's a guy I used to work with. I sat him down and explained the idea, and I said, this is what's going to come out on TV. Would you be interested in getting involved in the business? We discussed it and we knocked around ideas, and we came up with an idea. We're partner on it. We've reached out to different tour operators and travel companies, and we've discussed partnering with those and how they work and tried to learn the logistics and the operational side of it. We put together sort of an idea of what we want to create. We know all the different countries we're thinking of targeting. We know what we want to run. We just need to book it now. That's the hardest part as well, because we need licensing and certification, and we need insurances and all this sort of stuff. It takes a lot of time. We want to do it now, so we've been looking at ways we can get around that, and we want to make sure the customers are protected, but we want to make sure we get it live before, for this summer. We don't want to wait a year.
Do you need a lot of money for that, or is it something you can do?
The interesting thing is we need money, but we just don't care. Like I've just stopped caring about my worries, and I've just stopped thinking and overthinking things. We're just doing it. If we need to take out a loan, we take out a loan. I've been saving up cash, I'll put my own cash into it. If I lose my money doing something that I'm passionate about, I couldn't give a shit because I gave everything I had, literally everything I had, and more. And I'll just do the same thing next year. I'll just save up again. So in terms of starting the business, that doesn't scare me anymore. I don't worry about having to have 100 grand. We're just doing it. I mean, we were sat together last night in a coffee shop, and we were looking at different hotels we want to go to and putting together packages. And we found hotels where we can buy them, book them, and pay later. Things like that. So there's a way around it. And I think every time we meet a blockage or every time we meet a blockade, we just sit together and go, right, how are we going to deal with this? And if we do that all the way through, eventually we'll have what we want, what we set out to get. But if I was to look at that path now and look ahead, I wouldn't even carry on.
Yeah, I think a lot of business owners are like that. A lot of people fall down in that, where they say it's actually, they'll overthink and go, I have to do all these things, it's going to cost so much money, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're passionate about it, you plough through and you get it done.
I think this is what annoys. I was going around speaking to a lot of kids at universities and colleges now, and a lot of the questions they ask are things like, oh, how do you know when to start? How can you take that? And is it a risk and all that sort of stuff? The sort of questions that are in everyone's head before they do anything. And I guess it's more of a risk to not do what you've always wanted to do, as opposed to just doing it and failing at it. Do you know what I mean? I think the scary part is the failing. And I'm past that point of, I don't care anymore. I just don't care. I'm going to give it everything I've got. And if I fail, I'll just start again.
A lot of the whole fear of failing, though, is back to the making it complicated. Like, if you're setting up a company, like, a lot of the thing is, people will go, oh, I'll set it up when it's perfect and everything's ready and the website. Yeah, never. So the one thing is, if you just pick up the phone, make that first sale, the rest will follow. You know, that way, so stop overcomplicating it.
I think that's it. What you just said there about wait till it's perfect. I was waiting for, 5 years to start this company before someone just said, why don't you start? In fact, I was doing something similar to this. I was going around interviewing entrepreneurs around Manchester.
Better not have been in a van.
No, it wasn't. It was in a cupboard. It was smaller. No, if I filmed it, then they were willing to do it. So therefore, I could then say, all right, well, I'll put it online so they'll meet me. Therefore, it opened doors. So I was going around meeting quite a lot of people. And one guy has a web agency in Manchester. And he said, what do you want to do? And I said, not an agency. I want to start a travel company one day. He went, why don't you buy a website, put it online? Why don't you go and make your packages and put it online? You can have it on sale in the next couple of months. And I just sort of dismissed the idea, and that was 2 years ago. But 2 years later, I'm just, why haven't I done that? So why haven't I started?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because in my head, it was more complicated than it is. It is complicated, but who cares? Like, I'm just starting. I'm just putting one foot in front of the other, and then every time we meet an issue or a barrier, we overcome it. We think around it. We problem solve. And that's all you can do, right?
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. But before we finish up, because we're nearly out of time, for anyone watching that's considering applying for the Apprentice next year, what would you say to them?
Don't do it.
No, do you know what? I would say do it. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think that being involved in it is a fantastic accomplishment to get on there. But also going through that sort of process is everything's mental. Like everything from actually doing something like a task that you would never have done ever in your entire life, to having to be around people that annoy you or are fun or make new friends. But also like the press and the papers and dealing with those sort of issues. They're things that are all you might never have come across before, but they're a great learning experience. So do it for the right reasons. Do it because you want to start a business. If you want to become famous, go on Love Island, go on another show, go on MasterChef, go on Strictly Come Dancing, do the shows where you will become famous. Just do the Apprentice for the right reasons, I think. That's all I've got to say. Yeah, it just annoys me because I went in there with it's just a business show. It is entertainment, and they'll make you look an absolute buffoon. However, as long as you're there and you've got that plan of action in your mind, when you come out, that continues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. As long as you know what you want, yeah.
My trajectory's gone from there to there now because I was involved in that show. So, yeah, 1000% do it.
Enjoyed the video? Like to see more? Subscribe below.